Hello, the title of today's presentation is O squared times S. We're going to talk all about out-of-system plays in volleyball. So here's today's agenda for our presentation. We're going to start with the definition of out-of-system. We're going to talk about the hows and the whys, and we're going to talk about causes and effects. The definition. Before we can define what out-of-system is, we must first understand what in-system is. In volleyball, in-system refers to the offense running such that the hits go in this order. Our first hit is the pass to the primary setter. The second hit is pass from the primary setter to the intended attacker. Third hit is the attack by the intended attacker. So that is what in-system is. Obviously, out-of-system is probably the opposite. So in volleyball, out-of-system simply refers to the offense not running in this order. And that's what today's presentation is all about. Looking at and analyzing out-of-system plays. How and why? How do offenses find themselves out of system? First and foremost, high-level teams often find themselves out of system more than teams that are not at as high a level. Why is this the case? Because high-level teams have athletes that can make unbelievable and athletic plays that other players at other levels may not be as adept to making. We're not saying that players that are not at high a level cannot make these plays. We're simply just saying that players at lower levels probably will not make the plays at a more frequent rate that higher level players will. When these athletic plays occur, the downside to this is that other players may find themselves in positions to making plays and decisions that they normally do not have to make or not accustomed to making. Here are reasons why teams find themselves out of system. And before we dive into this, one of the things that we're going to find as we analyze particular plays is that often some of these cause and effects and reasons work in combination with one another. Our first one is blocks. Often balls coming off blocks will fall to the floor quickly off the top of the block, or they will travel behind the back row defense off the top of the block. 2. Setters. Sometimes our setters are forced to have to make the first hit to keep the ball alive. Other times, setters attacking the ball on 2 can often catch the defense off guard and out of position, resulting in out-of-system plays by the new offense. 3. Non-setters. Sometimes non-setters are forced to have to make decisions on the second hit that the primary setter normally would make. 4. Overpasses. The majority of overpasses usually result in interaction between the defense and the setter for the offense. The majority of the time, the setter is somewhere inside the attack line and close to the net. And generally, when there is an overpass, the setter will be in the vicinity of the net along with the defense. Our setter could be back row or our setter could be front. 5. Tips. Attacks that go over the top of the block, such that back row players have to dive potentially to keep the ball from contacting the playing court. 6. Joust. If there is a joust at the net between opposing front row players, generally the ball will go downward in the direction where teammates of one of the teams will have to come out of position to save the ball coming off the joust. 7. Serves. We have a few different categories for serves. Serves that just come off the top of the tape and start falling downward towards the court on the new offense's side of the net, or very good serves or hard serves that force bad passes off the first hit, or serves that result in overpasses on the first hit of the new offense. Cause and effect. Now we're going to look at the different reasons why teams are out of system and the results of teams being out of system by analyzing several plays.
There's going to be a lot of fans in here, but they want to quiet them from the start and try to take control of this match really early.
Fanning serving White. Dug up by Shelley Fanning. Linehan off hands, covered nicely though by Leah Edmond. And it's 2-0 Atlanta.
Huge swing from...
In this play, we had a great block by the Supernovas. It caused the ball to contact the Vibes setter for the first hit. The first hit causes the volleyball to go behind the defense such that the second hit has to be contacted by a non-setter. Let's look at another play.
One of those standout American college players who has spent time overseas in Turkey. Big part of this league, bringing those talented players back here on home soil.
In this play, the block by the Supernovas forces the Vibe setter to contact the ball for the first hit. Thus, the second hit has to be by a non-setter, in this case, the libero. Let's look at some more plays.
There's going to be a lot of fans in here, but they want to quiet them from the start and try to take control of this match really early.
Fanning serving White. Dug up by Shelley Fanning. Linehan off hands, covered nicely though by Leah Edmond. And it's 2-0 Atlanta.
Huge swing from...
This is one of the plays we analyzed earlier. We noticed that sometimes blocking and the resulting action of the volleyball from blocking work in conjunction with our setters. In this case, the great block by the Supernovas caused the ball to contact the Vibe setter for the first hit. Consequently, the ball went behind the defense such that the second hit had to be by someone not being the setter, in this case, one of the teammates of our primary setter. Let's look at another play.
One of those standout American college players who has spent time overseas in Turkey. Big part of this league, bringing those talented players back here on home soil.
Again, one of our plays from earlier. Seeing how blocking sometimes work in conjunction with the setters when the ball coming off the block goes to the setter or forces our setter to be in the position to have to contact the ball for the first hit. Consequently, the second hit will have to be by a non-setter. In this particular play, it is the libero. Let's look at another play.
Clock is part of the Professional Volleyball Federation rulebook. 15 seconds from the time the point ends until the time of the next serve. Linehan out of system. And a big swing that Tori Stringer was ready for. Cleveland into the pin.
Atlanta's doing a really good job in their transition. They're getting these balls up.
So another category of cause and effect with regards to setters. In this case, the set over attack by the back row setter for the Supernovas results in out-of-system play from the Vibe to start this rally. Let's look at some more plays.
Great that they now have the opportunity to do it on their home soil.
And we as fans have the opportunity to watch them as a timely setter dump. That's Tori Stringer, who you may know as Tori.
The setter dump by the front row setter for the Vibe catches the Supernovas off guard. The back row setter for the Supernovas dives in an attempt to save the volleyball. Let's look at another play.
Better, hey, let's either speed that up or spread it out.
See if Edmond gets another set here. Great up by Kendall White. Tip back over on 2. Nunaviller forcing it back on 1. That was Linehan. And a great cover there by Stringer. Leah Edmond ends up in the net. And the
We talked about non-setters being forced to make decisions as they have to contact the ball on the second hit. In a lot of cases, it's because a play by the old offense forces the primary setter to have to contact the ball on hit 1, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. In this particular play, the attack from the slide by the Supernovas comes off the collective block by the Vibe. The first hit is by the Vibe is by their setter. This forces a non-setter to set a dig pass on the second hit. Let's look at some more plays.
But still a really good ball.
And we've seen the Stringer Linehan connection work well. That overpass goes right to Tori Dixon.
If you've had the privilege of viewing our training series called Uh-Oh, you know that Uh-Oh is all about overpasses. And one of the things that we talk about in that particular training series is that most overpasses result in a reaction by the defense, especially when the volleyball is headed toward the plane of the net. In this particular play, the overpass by the Vibe results in an attack from the Supernovas. The resulting attack contacts the back row setter from the Vibe on hit 1. Had play continued following hit 1, it would have been out of system play by the Vibe. Let's look at some more plays.
When you have a lot of leaders on one team, but you have to have people that are also willing to listen. When you're playing professionally, he talked about all the players on my team, they've been captains at other programs, but it's not only their ability to lead, they also are really good listeners and know when to kind of reel it back a little bit and listen to someone else.
Right now they're listening to Edmond, who has been the hot hand in this set already. 3 kills for Leah since the second set began. Cleveland off the block, but back to Hentz. From the back row, Linehan comes flying in. Hard able to pass it over for De La Cruz. Stringer sets up Fanning, who times that one right.
That ball almost a miss hit.
So earlier in this rally, we have a tip attack by the left side front row player for the Supernovas. This results in the Vibe setter having to play the ball for their first hit. We also know that tips, depending on where they come from, sometimes result in action where back row players have to dive to make saves, and usually those dives, if they're pancake plays or they're simply dives which save the ball, usually result in out of system play. Let's look at some more plays.
Roster has upped her level here early. That joust won by De La Cruz. It was looking for a call. Dixon has it popped up by Edmond, and an acrobatic play by Linehan. Point Supernovas, though, thanks to De La Cruz.
And that'll get the...
During this rally, we had an overpass that resulted in the joust at the net. The rally continued with an out-of-system play by the Vibe as a result of the joust. Let's look at some more plays.
The wisdom of her teammates, citing Tori Dixon specifically, who comes into her spot in the front row now. Someone that's really mentored her throughout training camp. How about that angle? Over the block, but we wait to see if it was in. And
So the great serve by number 7 for the Supernovas results in a bad pass for the Vibe's first hit. Thus the second hit ends up being a dig pass by our teammate who is not the setter. Let's look at one final play.
Stringer to use her a little bit offensively from the back line.
The former Louisville standout setting here from the back. As the Supernova is able to scramble to put that one back. Cleveland dug out by Kendall White. Great dig the other way from Leah Edmond. Back row, Nunneviller looking for the campfire, but it was covered well by Morgan Hentz. Linehan with kill number 3.
Atlanta turning defense into.
So we see in this play, as you probably will see in a lot of plays where out-of-system play is occurring, that often we can have a combination of cause and effect. In this particular play, we have joust at the net, overpasses, tip attacks coming from the back row resulting in diving saves, balls coming off the block resulting in no hits from the setter, and so forth. We hope you've enjoyed our training presentation of O squared times S, which stands for out-of-system plays. We hope you gained some valuable knowledge and insight from this training presentation. Have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great season.